Hey everyone, it's Cheryl from Teaching 2 and 3-year-olds. In December, we do a week of gingerbread, and then we do 2 weeks of Christmas before we go on our winter break. If you haven't seen my Gingerbread Man Circle Time video yet, make sure to go see that if you're just starting out your December themes, because in that video, I share some fun ways to have circle time with your 2, 3, 4, and there's even activities for 5-year-olds in there. So make sure to check that out. I'll drop that link in the video's description. But now I'm going to talk about Christmas. And so these are some activities you can do at circle time or small groups during your Christmas theme. If you are going straight into winter, if you don't do Christmas in your school, we do have a lot of winter resources. So I will drop some links in the video's description to kind of head you in that direction if you are going to go right into the winter theme. But for now, I am going to talk about Christmas. Before I share these activities with you, I just want to remind you that these are for different levels of learners. So what might work for some ages might not work for other ages. What might work for some classrooms might not work for others. So I just like to share what I have available, and then you can pick and choose what you feel is going to work for your students. I have mentioned in previous videos during this school year that I have my youngest group of 2-year-olds in my history of teaching. And it's been a humbling experience because I now understand when other teachers tell me how they really have to simplify. Now I really understand what they were saying. So I am still simplifying. Circle time is still short, and I don't intend to increase it until I really feel that they're ready. So I won't be doing all these activities. But the 3 and 4-year-olds who share my classroom, they use these activities, and some of our pre-K classes will use these activities as well. So I just want you to keep that in mind to pick and choose what you feel is going to work with your group. So I am going to start off with a brand new addition to our shop. It is our winter song packet, and I'm so excited about it. And if you don't know already, my daughter Rachel creates all of the printables that are in our shop. She actually designs the graphics and puts everything together for me. So I tell her what I need in my classroom or what our preschool needs in the other classrooms, and she makes it happen. And so this packet is fun because it has lyrics. So in this packet, the first one that we have, the first activity is Jingle Bells. And so with each song, here's the lyrics. I even laminated this because you know I love to laminate everything so I can keep it for years. And then within each song, there are props for the children to hold. Again, if you are new to teaching 2 and 3-year-olds, just a little heads up that I will talk a lot about props that the children can hold. I love props that can go up on a board or a flannel board, but I also feel that the children are much more attentive when they have something to hold too. So I always copy onto cardstock, heavy paper, and I always laminate, and I like to use jumbo craft sticks and wide packing tape to make these as sturdy as possible. How you do it, you can decide, but that's what I have found works best because, again, I don't want to have to make these every year. So my hope is that they will last a few years. So with the Jingle Bells, you will see that there are 3 different colors, yellow, red, and green. So I make enough so that each child can hold them, and then they can hold up their prop while we sing. Where is it? There it is, Jingle Bells. Now, each of these songs also comes with larger props. So you can choose. If you want to, you can make larger props. I chose to do the smaller ones, but there is the option of doing the larger as well. Another thing you can do, if you'd like, you can take the larger props to put them up on the board like I've done here. And then that way it's another visual. So you have your props to hold, you have your visual up here. So With Jingle Bells, I also actually like the children to ring Jingle Bells. So I'm gonna start with the props so they can learn the song, because sometimes it's a bit distracting when they're shaking their real Jingle Bells. Once we learn the song, then I will give them real Jingle Bells to hold. And you all know, if you've been here for a while, that I love to take my printables and use them in different ways. I like to get as much out of each printable as I can. So when I was doing the Jingle Bell props, I decided to create a little simple matching game that I think my 2-year-olds can handle. And that is that I'm just going to put the 3 colors of the Jingle Bells out like this, and then I'm going to hand each of the children one of these big Jingle Bells, and they can come up and they can match their Jingle Bells to this. Or if you don't want to make extra ones of these, you can just take your props. The children can take their props and come up and they can just match it like that. But I wanted to share that now because I thought of that when I was making the printable, that this would be a great little addition to the Jingle Bell props. And another activity, another song that's in that packet is Deck the Halls. And again, props, these are the small props. It also comes with larger wreaths that you can use your choice. And it comes with, up on the housetop, I chose to have the reindeer that they can hold, and Oh Christmas Tree. Again, same thing. They've got props, you've got lyrics. There's larger ones if you'd like to put up on the board. We also have a candy cane counting activity, and this is a free printable that is on my website. Again, all the links are in the video's description. And this is easy. I mean, I just laminated, and then I used Velcro so that the candy canes can just stick on top. And actually this started when I was teaching online during the pandemic, and it was a great visual through the screen, but I've just decided to keep on doing it. This can go with the song 5 Candy Canes by the Kaboomers, and this is in my Spotify December playlist, which I'll drop a link in this video's description, so you'll find it in there. And so it's fun for counting, it's a nice visual, and I just put Velcro on the back so that if I wanted to, I can just put it on the felt board just like this. Makes it really easy.
Way up high in the Christmas tree, I saw 2 candy canes looking at me.
Another free printable on our website, these bells from 1 to 10. And I created these because there are a couple of songs that are in my December playlist that I really love. One of them is 10 Little Bells by the Kaboomers. So you're using all the bells here. And another one is 5 Little Bells by We Sing, which then of course you'll just use the 5. And there's also a rhyme on dlk.com. And all of this is in the post where you get this free printable. So again, the link is in the video's description. Make sure to read that post before you download, because you'll see some of the different ways that you can use this. But basically, if you're using it for songs, you can just copy it onto cardstock just to make it a little heavier. And then I have Velcro on the back because I used it on my felt board. But you can do, again, you can do magnets using it on a magnetic board. Another thing I thought of was creating a matching activity for circle time or small groups. So I made several copies because I wanted to make sure that each child had a number, and I put the bells from 1 to 10. You can do this in the middle of the floor, and then you give each child a number. Make sure all the numbers are represented so that they'll all have a match. And then the children can come up and they can just put their number underneath. They can match it. And if you want to make this simpler, then you can just go to 5 or however high you want to go, and then you just use those matching numbers when you pass them out with the children. Another thing you can do, so you can call the children up and you can say, just have them match. That's the easiest. Or you can say, who has the number 8? And then the children all have to look at their bells, see what number they have, and then those with that number come up and they put it underneath. And you can have different amounts so that when you're all finished, you can say which bell has the most matches, which one has the least matches. So there's always ways that you can take these and make them a little bit more challenging, again, depending on where your children are at. So this is a fun way that you can stretch this printable from just being a counting activity with songs to an actual matching activity. Or another thing is you can take these bells and you can tape them on to craft sticks and the children can hold them as props while you sing these songs. And then afterwards they can come up with their prop in hand and match it up to one of these. So you decide how you want to do it, but I just wanted to show you how you can take a simple activity and just add a little bit more. I have this free color matching activity on the website where you have these color cards, green, red, blue, and yellow. So I keep these in the middle of the carpet, and then there are different colored ornaments. And make enough so that each child has at least one, maybe they can have a couple. I like to laminate them, of course, and then I pass them out to each of the children. And then they can come up and they can place their ornament on the matching color. So this is a fun little activity. And then if you wanted to actually make it be a challenge, these are nice and small, so this would be challenging. You can hide these little ornaments around the room, and then as they find them, they can come back and they can put them on the matching colored rectangle. So that's a little addition and gets them up and moving too. And this is build a gingerbread house. Now I realize this should go with my gingerbread video that I did last week, the circle time video, but I forgot all about it. And you can still use this during the Christmas theme as well. In fact, I often carry several of my gingerbread activities over into the Christmas theme anyways, but it is a freebie that's on the website. That's why I wanted to bring it up. I don't want you to miss it. And there is the gingerbread house, and then I just put it in the middle like this, and then there's all these pieces. And you can give a piece to each child, and then they can come up and they can just build the gingerbread house, just putting the pieces on like this. So they're all going to help build the gingerbread house. I've also put this on the light table. I've also put this on a tray at our table during Center's time. So there's a couple different ways that you can use this, but this is also fun for circle time or small groups. And one last idea I just came up with. This will be good for older children who are identifying the alphabet. You can take my alphabet ornaments and you can turn it into a circle time activity or small group activity. Now, I designed these to be used with our Christmas gift bags, and these are bags that the children actually decorate, and then the ornaments that they make in December that they're going to give to their families, we wrap them up, we put them in the gift bag, then I give them each one of these alphabet ornaments, and I use the first letter of their first name. They paint it, I laminate it, and I attach it to their bag. But as I was putting this all together, I thought, you know, the older children might be able to use this as a matching activity. So you can just make copies of these, 2 sets at least, and depending on how many children you have. And then you put the first set down on the floor, and then you hand out the letters to the children and they come up and they match it. Now, if you don't have 26, and none of our classes have 26, you would have to double it up and give them a couple of letters to come up. Or you can give them the first letter of their first name. So even though you want to do the whole alphabet out front so they can see it, Then you give them their ornament that has the first letter of their first name. You can even give them two, one for the first letter of their first name and their first letter of their last name if you want to. But anyway, however you do it. Then they come up with their letter. They identify it and they match it. They put it underneath the matching letter. Another way, I just thought of it now. Last year, our pre-kinder class, she did not make a set in the middle of the floor. She just simply cut these out and gave each child a letter. And then she just started at the beginning of the alphabet and said, who has a letter A? And the child with the letter A came up and placed it there. What comes next? They said what letter came next? B. Who has a letter B? And then they would put it there. So there was no matching involved. They were simply building the alphabet by bringing their letter up when they saw which one came next. So I just remembered that. That's why I love to see how the different classes in my preschool use our printables, so I can share it with you, because I realize that I do have a lot of teachers here who teach older than 3-year-olds, so I like to include those activities too.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, G. Who has G? Great, put it down.
So those are some ideas for your Christmas theme for circle time. If you, again, are going right into winter, you can do a search in my channel for my winter videos, because those will give you ideas on what you can do in your classroom, and I show the printables that we use during circle time as well. And also, if you'd like to see how my classroom was set up for Christmas in the past 6 or so years since I've been here on YouTube, feel free to check those out, because every year I do something a little different. So as you go through the videos, you'll get even newer ideas. And there's also a Christmas resource page where I try to get everything there, links to printables, activities that you can do in every center of your classroom, songs, books. It's all on that one page. So that link is included here in this video. And if you're looking for songs for December, I have this December Spotify playlist, and within this I have lots of different songs. And I've been recently asked, are these songs for circle time? Are these songs for music and movement? When do you play these songs? I play these songs all the time, to be honest with you. But some of the songs are good for circle time when they have numbers or colors. Some of the songs are really good for music and movement when the children can use instruments or they can get up and dance. And then I like to take my Bose speaker, my Bluetooth speaker, and my phone, and we'll play music while we're in the gym or outside. So I kind of use it all the time. But anyway, I'm going to drop the link to this in the video's description. If you like this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up, because that encourages YouTube to share it with more teachers who are looking for these resources. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to Teaching 2 and 3-year-olds on YouTube and click that bell icon so that every time I publish a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks for watching.